and today we're going to learning about AWS Innovation. So let's begin. Day 1. What is design thinking? This is a method that is mainly used for the purpose of comprehending people, questions, problems, and solutions. Used to turn ideas into physical and valuable products as soon as possible. The design thinking framework consists of 3 properties: immersion, ideation, and implementation. The 5 stages of the design thinking process. The 5 stages are not always followed in a specific order. They often occur at the same time or repeat numerous times. These stages are empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. Empathize. This is used to discover your target audience. You will learn more about the audience, such as their problems and necessities. Define. Determine a problem statement. Focuses on users' needs, and the problem statement is used as a guiding tool. Ideate. You will collaborate with others with different areas of expertise, and in this case you want quantity over quality. Prototype. The goal is to create a product that can be evaluated and critiqued. Test. Users will provide feedback that will determine if your solution is viable. This saves money in the long term. The Cloud Innovation Center. This creates a chance for non-profit institutions, education services, and government departments to work with other public sector companies. This will help collaborate on issues of high importance. This can help test issues using Amazon's innovation process. You will harness the technology of AWS, and any non-profit institutions, education services, or government departments can register to work on the Cloud Innovation Center. What is a culture of innovation? Amazon aims to be the world's most customer-centric organization. They do this to 4 main customer sets: consumer, sellers, enterprises, and content creators. Characteristics of an innovative culture. You will hire builders, fail fast, work backwards, and 2 pizza teams. Hire builders with different backgrounds and points of view in order to make decisions. You will fail fast. Try all possibilities and be accepting of failure. Working backwards. Constantly drive customer-centric, ingenious thinking, used to make sure the product is what the customer needs. And lastly, 2 pizza teams. Hire efficient workers in order to minimize communication and unnecessary meetings. It is named 2 pizza teams, as an innovation team should require no more than 2 pizzas to feed a small and efficient team. The formula for innovation. Innovation equals culture plus people plus tools and mechanisms. Here is a video for design thinking that you may watch at a later point, which will be linked in the description below. Next, let's talk about the 5 W's of innovation at Amazon. What is innovation? Where does innovation take place? Who innovates? When does one innovate? And why innovate? So what is innovation? Innovation is the successful integration of new thoughts into society. Where does innovation take place? It takes place everywhere, and it can range from inventing something to improving it. Who innovates? Everyone. Innovation is the way one goes about their work. When does one innovate? Every day. It occurs because of ongoing events and unexpected circumstances that happen. Lastly, why innovate? Because everything depends on it. Innovation creates new opportunities to serve consumers. Models of innovation. Numerous models work together that have their pros and cons. A way to categorize these models is by separating them across the continuum of continuous and discontinuous models. Continuous models are innovation that is described as incremental, evolutionary, and reactive. There are more linear type changes for a constant increase in innovation over time. Discontinuous innovation is innovation that is described as disruptive, revolutionary, and transformative. They are nonlinear, abrupt changes. As you can see in the diagram, continuous development is a steady slope, whereas discontinuous development has sudden jumps. The innovation process. It is the most common process to uphold innovation, which is known as working backwards. It depends on working deliberately according to the goal and shared thoughts that you may have. Constantly injecting innovation into independent and teamwork, and requires working backwards from the customer, meaning to constantly come back to the customer's ideas for solving any problems that may arise. And working backwards will lead to working repetitively, continually reevaluating the problem at hand. Working intentionally. This is when work is both intentful and determined. It siphons AWS's customer obsession into solving a certain conflict. Organizations work specifically to make sure that their business decisions are orderly managed. Teams will work purposefully together. Individual workers take the lead and ownership of their own efforts in order to optimize innovation. The starting place for working intentionally. The vision and the mental models. The vision is an idea of how certain things could be contrasting to how they are currently. This contradicts conventional wisdom, and it is rigid on the vision, however relaxed on the specifics. The mental models are basic ideas that act as the base for generating ideas. They raise ideas from the ground and provide them with superior direction. They are formed as a statement of cause and effect and helps create new ideas further down the road. Working backwards. This is made up of the 5 customer questions, which are the following. Who is the customer? What is the customer's problem or opportunity? What is the most important customer benefit? How do you know what the customers want or need? What does the customer experience look like? And the objective of these questions is to maintain the customer's importance and keep them involved during the innovation process. Here is a short video regarding the innovation process, which will also be linked below. Next, let's discuss working iteratively. The innovation process becomes iterative, especially during execution. Many ideas never get past the analysis phase. This is called analysis paralysis. Execution is when an organization chooses to commit to a certain idea, and as a result they will hire a leader and a committed team to execute the idea. Successful execution leads to experimentation, which is the heart of success. However, the research that takes place must be limited to answering specific questions related to serving customers, always working back from the ideas of the customer. There are 2 types of decisions, one-way doors and two-way doors. One-way door decisions are decisions that are difficult to return to once they have been made. Two-way door decisions are decisions that are reversible, and they're made quickly by superior group and high-level individuals, as you can come back on it at a later date if you need to. Where do ideas come from? So there are 4 places where ideas can come from. Expertise and a beginner's mind, irrational optimism and grit, listening and imaging, and a history and science fiction. So expertise and a beginner's mind. This is when Opening a mind influences perspective and helps new ideas emerge. This will prevent any personal bias, assumptions, or limitations. Irrational optimism and grit. Ideas that are not commonly accepted should not be neglected immediately. Resilience is extremely important as it helps one make their idea a reality. Being misunderstood is not always a negative. Listening and imaging. Ideas come from visualizing a customer's idea before they can do so themselves. Get to know your customer. Put yourself in their shoes. A great amount of AWS's ideas came from listening to their customers and then working backwards. History and science fiction. Ideas come from a combination of failure and success, so they can be inspired from external sources. Next, let's discuss PR FAQs. So PR FAQ stands for Press Release and Frequently Asked Questions. And a press release is a one-page narrative that describes AWS's vision using customer-centric language. A press release, or PR, is used to envision how the customer will react to the product, and it helps sort through ideas. It ensures the ideas are worthy of any future investment. Elements of the PR FAQ. It is a skill that takes practice to master, and known as a crafting process due to the draft and edit system used while creating a PR. The share plan early for feedback from superiors, and FAQs are developed to answer questions that a customer may have. There are two types of FAQs, a customer FAQ and a stakeholder FAQ. Customer FAQ is when you imagine you are the customer and you are writing questions and answers a real customer would have. A stakeholder FAQ is questions your superiors or partners may ask. It is crucial to identify difficult questions early on when working backwards and incorporate these as both customer and stakeholder FAQs. What is a visual? A visual allows one to explore the customer experience. This is used to show how the customers will use the product and how they want to use it. As the project matures, the visual can become more detailed. Visual presentation is how pictures, images, and diagrams express certain ideas. Visual presentation maximizes effectiveness of a presentation. Here is a video discussing working backwards, which will also be linked below. Next, this is an example of a visual that we were just discussing that helps best illustrate an idea and accentuate a presentation. Next, let's discuss the Amazon leadership principles. So these principles have been incorporated in Amazon since 2002, and they will explain how Amazon conducts their business, how the leaders manage, and how decisions are formed for customers. Let's discuss the 17 leadership principles that are displayed here. We will go into a little bit of detail about each and the skills required for each. So customer obsession and ownership. Customer obsession, the first skill, is when leaders begin with consumers and work backwards. They work diligently to maintain customer trust. It focuses on customers, and it keeps competition under a close eye as well. Skills required for this is humility and empathy. Ownership. Leaders are owners. They plan for the future and do not sacrifice the future for immediate gain. They represent the entire company, and so leaders take the initiative to help out others. Skills required include persistence and integrity. As you can see from a quote from Jeff Bezos, Amazon's founder and CEO, the number one thing that has made us successful by far is obsessive-compulsive focus on the customer. Invent and simplify, and are right a lot. Invent and simplify. Workers are required to provide innovation and invention to their work. Leaders will always try work to simplify matters. And leaders constantly search for new and more innovative ideas. which requires diligence, flexibility, and the ability to be misunderstood. Alright, a lot. Leaders have good judgment and intuition. They look for different perspectives and work to disprove beliefs. The skills required are humility and optimism. Here is a video on the Amazon leadership principles, which will be linked below. Let's continue learning more about the 17 leadership principles. So next we have learn and be curious. Leaders are never satisfied and always look to improve themselves. They're curious about any new opportunities. The skills needed include learning and the ability to be conscientious or diligent. Hire and develop the best. Leaders acknowledge outstanding work, and they are willing to promote those who do outstanding work. Leaders create other leaders and seriously consider the coaching and mentoring of other workers. Skills required include courage and investment. Deliver results and insist on the highest standards. Deliver results. Key in on the main suggestions given by workers. Leaders persevere and never settle despite any problems or conflict that may arise. The skills required include commitment and deliver. Insist on the highest standards. Leaders have incredibly high standards and are constantly looking for more motivation for their team, and they motivate their team to produce superb products. The skills required are exceptional and uncompromisable. Think big and bias for action. Leaders think big. They encourage broad thinking. They encourage ambition across all of the working place at all times. The skills required equal innovation and optimism. Bias for action. Speed is very important and valuable in business. Being able to take a calculated risk is also a very valuable skill. Frugality and earning trust. Frugality. Leaders maximize their spending efficiency. They use resourcefulness and clever thinking to get the most out of what they have and spend the least amount of money that they can. Skills required include creativity and adaptability. Earning trust. Good leaders must listen, speak, and treat others respectfully. They have to know their employees are not perfect, be okay with it, and help them grow. Skills required include trust and honesty. Diving deep and having a backbone. Dive deep. Leaders conduct business at all levels, and they're up to date on all details. They're expected to push through any problem that they may face, as no task is under them. The skills required include detail orientation and demystifying. Have a backbone. Disagree and commit. Leaders know when to make tough decisions, and they can make tough decisions. They have a strong view and are ruthless when they need to be. Skills required for this are conviction and cohesion. Deliver results and try to be the best employer possible. Deliver results. This is viewed by employees as a highly important principle. Leaders rise to the occasion and be a leader. They deliver results for certain products, and they take responsibilities for ideas that they have created for a product. They try to be the best employer possible. By being a leader, you must be one that has the objective of making their work environment a cooperative and safe place for all. Employees must be able to share their ideas respectfully with others in a comfortable environment. Employers must make sure that employees are growing, empathized for, empowered, and ready for what may come next. Success and scope bring great responsibility. The size of a company matters. This is because it gives them power over certain consumers. Since Amazon is one of the largest companies on planet Earth, it empowers customers. It gives power to the commander of the company. It helps the company expand beyond its size at the moment. That is all we have for today. Thank you for watching and listening, and we hope to see you next time. All those videos will be linked below.